In today's news, I have a response to Rudy's response to Alpha Investments and their fantastic whiteboard video. Welcome on in, Dragon Folk. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I know I am. We're trying a new camera angle today, so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it. I've got my big rig up there. Got my book of jokes, exceptionally bad dad jokes. I've got my Dungeon Master's Guide for when I want to play Dungeons and Dragons, which is almost all the time, but can never get the people together. So today I wanted to go over the whole alpha investments going into the more true print run for current standard sets. So, of course, as everybody has seen the video probably by now, I'll go ahead and link it in the description down below, or I'll put it up there somewhere. But essentially, what we are looking for is an answer, right? I think with the Lost Legends inserts for Dominaria United, we all kind of figured we were on the right track, right? We could probably see whether or not certain, 3% of certain cards and how many boxes were opened and how many of this, that, and the other were all taken care of, and we can tell how many, collector booster boxes existed as far as a general print run, right? The print run for a collector booster box always stays the same. So, and it's always, finite. There's no printed demand for collector boxes. It's just for draft and set are there printed demand stuff. So when we're looking at these, obviously we have the video in question, right, where Hasbro has released a statement saying that Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, the set to come out that came out in February, I want to say January, early 2022. It came out and it, completely destroyed records, and it is the fifth set, if I recall correctly. He said it's the fifth set to hit 100 million sales, right? So 100 million sales as far as Kamigawa Neon Dynasty goes. Now that includes all things, as per Rudy's video, per Alpha Investments video. You have draft boxes, set boxes, collector boxes, supplemental sets like commander decks and theme decks and blister packs and pre-release stuff and so on and so forth. Then you have non-US product, so things that are shipped all over the world to different countries and different languages. And then you have digital stuff. So for this example he had 0% in digital sales, just as an estimate as to how much Kamigawa Neon Dynasty existed out in the world as of right now. And with his, math that he used, it may seem like a bit of fudged in numbers here and there, but I'm honestly going to say that a lot of that was pretty accurate. I mean, you got to realize that Rudy has access to tools that myself and many of us here on YouTube do not have. I don't own a brick and mortar. I don't have access to a distributor. I have not talked to multiple distributors. I don't have people who talk to me through WotC. I don't have any of those people. And so because of that, I'm speculating mainly on several things that I see in the market, right? Do I think there were millions of boxes? I mean, no, but I think it's all, we all get kind of hyped up on it, right? On how this all works. So as far as omitting digital, and he claimed that a lot of the supplemental sets in the non-US set, right, those bottom three, were kind of not, they weren't a huge portion of the sales, right? Maybe like 20% total of the sales. Yeah, about like 20 to 30% of the sales were supplemental, right? Which means that about 70% of the sales were all sealed boxes, right? Um, and if you split that up amongst 10 million, you do the math based on distributor pricing and based on all these other factors, you come up to find that the estimated amount of draft booster boxes that were made sit right around 275,000 boxes. The same kind of goes for the set boxes. And then as far as the collector boxes go, you're sitting at about 150,000, right? So that's almost a million boxes, but not quite, right? You're looking at about 650,000 boxes total ish. No, 700,000 boxes total. So 700,000 boxes. My math is probably also wrong, but I'm not going to go look over at a calculator over there because I don't care. We're right around the ballpark. So with that being the case, that brings up pricing. He brings up pricing. He talks about that kind of stuff. And when he brings that up, he comes to an amount that is 98 million, which is just 2 million shy of, $100 million, which is the revenue that they reported for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Now, of course, he also got a response from a lot of people to that video. Responses such as distributors telling him that he has no idea how much non-US product is sold on a regular basis. You have LGS owners who are just like, I sell pre-release kits like nobody's business. Commander decks also are a big deal. And then he didn't factor in the digital in his original calculation, but there is quite a bit of digital sale. Now, it's weird to say the digital sale stuff because when you think about it, I think the only digital sales that would ever account directly for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty are when you buy packs on Magic the Gathering Online and when you buy packs of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty on Arena, but only with gems. And I specifically say that because gems are the US currency conversion, or the really the real life money conversion to that. So gems are like the money currency in Arena, but gold is not. So I would not imagine that most of the stuff has been factored in with gold, because if people bought Kamigawa packs with their gold, it would not count towards an actual sale. You get gold just by doing quests and so on and so forth, and so there's no actual money being made there. But even after all that and getting all these numbers out, and kind of looking towards things, you also have to think that 100 million is a lot of money, but is it the actual, highest level it can go, right? Can there be more to it than just that, right? Did they just say 100 million because it was a nice number, and instead it was like 136 million or something, and it didn't seem as nice, so they just cut it at 100 million? Who's to say, right? But what I think is that there were a lot of sales, obviously, with the collector boxes because of the chase card, right? Hidetsugu was a huge thing. The set was genuinely good as far as the cards inside of it. So you have a lot of people buying draft boxes. The draft was a fun experience. The set boxes were also fantastic. The list was really, really good with Sensei's Divining Top, Sakashima Student, a couple other things from previous lists as well. So definitely a worthy place for the set booster boxes. But what happens is that if he takes this 30% that was supplemental and he increases the amount that was actually there to even like 20% per, right? If he does that, then that means that about 45%, maybe even 50% of the product is supplemental and digital and the non-US stuff. So if 50% of it is that, Then you have 50% of 100 million, which is 50 million. And you double that, or you tally that up into other boxes and how much they'd actually be worth. You're looking at about almost like 50 to 100,000 less boxes per, style, right? Per draft, per set. I'd imagine they take hits there over anything else, but I don't think 50% of their sales are in those other things. 40% maybe. That's a little bit more accurate, but 50% is a little too much. So now the real question here leads this to be the case, right? If this set did really, really good, right? Kamigawa Neon Dynasty did really, really well. It hit a high mark, and they went about and they did exactly what they said they were going to do. They broke through the barrier. They made sure 2022 started off with a bang, and they did that. But what does that mean for all the sets that are not up to snuff with Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, right? If they keep making Kamigawa Neon Dynasty and it keeps selling well and it just keeps going, people keep buying it because they keep wanting it, does that mean that because everybody doesn't want to buy the other sets, they are reducing the print runs? Reducing the print runs is obviously a big supply issue as far as this goes, because if we come to find out that the print to oblivion era that apparently we think we live in, if we think that that's the case, and Innistrad Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, which did so poorly, right? Let's even just use Crimson Vow, right? Crimson Vow did probably the worst out of all of them. Let's say Crimson Vow only got like 40,000 boxes in its first wave, and then nothing else, because now you can barely get people to buy them for $82, and that means that the supply for LGSs is still up there, right? Amazon still got supply of it. LGSs have supply of it, so they don't need to order more. They don't want to order more, because if they order more, they will just keep losing money, right? People aren't just going in and buying them, even at a discount like this, right? Usually draft booster boxes go for anywhere between like $95, $100. And this one is just sitting at 80, 85. And that's just where it's at. And it's almost due to be out of print. I mean, Innistrad Midnight Hunt is next on the list, and that is going to be a huge hit for Midnight Hunt. Because once Midnight Hunt's out of print, you got to think about all those people who picked up those draft boxes for $85 a piece. And if we end up getting more and more information on this thing, and we get a true printout of current sets and how much are out there, then what happens when there's only like 30,000 draft booster boxes of Innistrad Midnight Hunt? Well, they're certainly not going to be $85. I'll tell you that much. They're going to skyrocket, right? Just the Here Be Dragons Secret Lair alone, only being at a 10,000 print run, was enough to triple its price on the secondary market. So imagine a actual standard set being quite literally so incredibly limited that you can't pick anything up is mind-blowing to me. But of course, we take it day by day, and we keep eyes on things. It is still very hard to like choose a true investment. There are a lot of very good ones, but we got to start from where we can. If you can afford an $85 box of Innistrad Midnight Hunt or even Crimson Vow, I suggest picking it up, at least one, or at least a case, right? Because that way you have a smaller position, but you do have a position for when these go up eventually. Because if it turns out the price gets, it stays roughly the same the whole way through, nobody's able to buy these boxes, and then eventually it goes out of print, and we find out that it's short printed, the scarcity skyrockets, people want to have the rare thing, so they would need those boxes. And it turns it's a weird thing to think about, but it does make sense in a way. Um, I view a lot of what Rudy has to say as pretty pretty close truth. I think at the end of the day, I don't have any reason to not believe Rudy and these numbers themselves, right? Alpha Investments, I mean, that man has worked diligently night and day to get us information about things like this. And I'm not calling him a hero, but he definitely has insider information. And while he's not leaking accurate data, he is leaking somewhat accurate data, and that is actually going to be like worthwhile in the end. Because I think what people want is people want to know, much like with what happened with Lost Legends, people want to know that there's only a certain amount of Legends Dominaria United collector boxes, right? That there's only a certain amount and there's not going to be any more, and that amount is like under 100,000, right? If people found that out and they were just like, this is it, right? If the set does really, really good, there's only going to be 100,000 collector boxes. And at 100,000 collector boxes at 3%, there's going to be a Legends card. Those are going to get picked up immediately, and there's going to be nothing left on the show floor. There just won't be. But I don't think that'll be the case. If I'm being entirely honest, as far as Dominaria United goes, I don't think, this is going to be a different thing. I'll make a different video on Dominaria United and what I feel about the boxes in themselves, but I do really think that overall it's kind of around the same bend, right? I still will continue to buy boxes at cheap prices. It's just what I'll do, right? I think right now we're in an era of people want the more flashy stuff. They want the higher crazy power things. Obviously still having Modern Horizons 2 being printed is, eyeing more people are eyeing towards that. You do also have Double Masters 2022, which has fantastic reprints, really, really high power cards. So because of that, I think that, obviously a lot of the attention is being, distracted away from stuff like this. I mean, I went on TCGPlayer just today and found out that New Capenna draft booster boxes are actually going for like $85 before tax. When did that happen? Right? New Capenna has got triomes in it. Why all of a sudden is it not a thing? Right? Why is it no longer the case? And so I'm not entirely convinced that these draft boxes aren't like the best price you're ever going to get them at, right? I think they are, right? I should say that I am convinced. I am convinced that right now at $85 a piece for New Capenna, Innistrad Midnight Hunt, and Innistrad Crimson Vow, this is a good time to pick those up, right? Because the second they start getting out of print, the second we get deeper into Dominaria United and people start forgetting about Innistrad Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, and they forget about, even picking up a draft box at Kamigawa, right? Anything from this era, I feel a lot of it is, it was all focused into one thing for Kamigawa, and then it was, oh, here's Double Masters, right? Double Masters 2022, huge spike, and that's where like all of it went, right? But I mean, Baldur's Gate, New Capenna, both the Innistrad sets, they're cheap product to pick up right now, and they will eventually at some point stabilize at $100 and then go up from there as they age. So why wouldn't you pick them up knowing you will at least guarantee yourself $15 profit after purchasing it? I think it's just a better buy for people who can only afford like a box a month, right? I think if you afford a box a month, if you can afford a box a month, it's a great starting point, but I definitely think you should maybe put that into other stuff. But again, a different video. Mainly this is kind of a weird PSA. Because if you're buying these boxes at $85 a piece, and it turns out the print runs for these packs, the print runs for these draft boxes are extremely low, lower than Kamigawa's have been, and lower, more importantly, lower than the estimated print run of the collector boxes, right? The collector boxes might just stay 150 throughout the whole thing, but if we find out that only like 40,000 draft boxes and 40,000 set boxes were made of Innistrad Midnight Hunt, that's less than the amount that is in the, you know, the estimated 150,000 collector boxes. So there's less draft and less set than collectors, and that would do a big shift, right? That'd do a huge shift into the different stuff, and who knows, right? All I know is that I think they're fantastic pickups. I think if you're truly looking to start into getting something, new product has its place, right? It isn't bad because the cards are bad. It's bad because you have so many people eyeing so many other things, and by the time people actually get an idea for what a set does, the next set comes out. And there's so much pushing and pushing and pushing that we, you know, it's forget this set, go on to the next one. Forget this set, go on to the next one. Forget this one, go on to the next one. There's so much pushing going on this year that I truly feel that, like, you know, Kamigawa was a big hit, and it's just been pushing since. So Kamigawa got lucky in regard to what it is, but do I think it is a, you know, do I think it's the set to invest into? Only the collector boxes. Because those are going to be open way more than the draft and the set. So the collector boxes also, you know, you have the opportunity for the Hitotsugus, the Neon Inks. Those are very, very good. You also have the foil etched Wandering Emperor, which is going still, I think, strong, about a $200 card right now. So if you happen to pull that, you pretty much paid for your box. So pretty good. But I don't know. That's how I feel kind of about this year's product. A 2022 product seems to be at such a weird point because it's just like it was hot and then it pushed itself, right? And like even Innistrad, both the Innistrad sets are so low and so incredibly cheap right now, and they have slow lands in them, and they have Meathook Massacre and gosh, whatever that Voice of the Blessed and that other enchantment, whatever that thing is, the Sanctuary or whatever for the spirits, I can't remember. But there's good cards. Zombie, right? Necroduality. There's a ton of different, you know, concepts available in these sets, and I think people are just sleeping on them, right? Am I going to invest my entire life savings into them? No, I'm going to safely invest into them, and we're, you know, you take a risk, right? That's what investing is taking a risk. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do really appreciate your support. I like the numbers coming from Rudy and seeing what he's got to say. And, you know, I'm always going to keep watch on it, right? The more Hasbro gives more information, the more we're going to know as far as general print runs go. But for the most part, this is a good start. And this is a good indicator to let me know what very well could be out there. Not even just as far as this, but even things like Guilds of Ravnica and, you know, Rivals of Ixalan and War of the Spark. I mean, there's plenty of things to go around. So hopefully we just keep an eye on things, find sets you like, and do some research into them and see whether or not they're investable. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this whole nonsense. I'm hoping people are in agreement. I hope that people kind of understand where things are coming with this. But, you know, I would love to get a melding of minds together and kind of talk over the specific discussion and see what people think. So without further ado, while you're in the comments section, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. I like to make all this content for you guys, so you know you have general information of Magic the Gathering news coming at you at a almost daily basis, and I'm happy that I can keep your attention for more than 5 minutes. Also, we do have a Patreon in the description below, so feel free to check that out if you want. I do have a cool little tier now where I can open some packs for you and send them your way as a special patron video, so I hope to get to that sometime soon. We've now got a whopping 3 patrons, 2 of them in our highest tier. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting the channel in a way that means more to me than you'll ever know. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all soon. Nerd out.